Hey guys, welcome back to Film Feature 43. Today, I'm going to answer the question, is Scream a sequel to Serial... Hey, why is the phone out here? Why is the phone... I'm trying to do a video. Hello?
I'm sorry, I guess I dialed the wrong number.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, yeah, I'm kind of busy. No problem. Have a good one. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Film Feature 43. Today... I'm gonna have a lot of cutting to do. Hello?
Why don't you want to talk to me?
Oh, sorry. You said you had the wrong number. I'm kind of trying to film a video for my YouTube channel.
You like scary movies?
I mean, yeah, it depends on the film, I guess. Why?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I like Dale and Tucker versus Evil, Scream, Evil Dead, Aliens, Cabins in the Woods. Look, I'm gonna have to go.
Don't hang up
I'm
on
a
me.
little busy, sorry. Sorry about that. So, like I was welcome back to Film Feature. Hey, listen, bud.
No, you listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll cut you like a fish.
Nope.
Understand?
Hey guys, welcome back to Film Feature 43. Today, it's going to talk about Serial Mom and whether or not it is the first film in the Scream series. So if you haven't seen Serial Mom, here's a little bit of rundown. We start off with this kind of Coen Brothers-esque, based on a true story tag in the beginning of the film. We pan into this perfect suburban household with the perfect mom and the perfect dad. It's a John Waters film, like I said before, starring Kathleen Turner and Sam Waterston and Ricki Lake, and most importantly, for our purposes, making his feature film debut, Matthew Lillard. Those four play the Sutphin family, who is your typical suburban family. You have the mom, who is seen as perfect. You have the dentist dad, the rebellious daughter, and the horror junkie son. The police show up and question the family about these obscene phone calls that one of their neighbors are getting, and we come to find out very quickly that Beverly isn't as perfect as she seems, as we see her making these obscene phone calls to her neighbor.
The police are tracing this call this very minute.
Well, Donnie Hinkle, then why aren't they here, huh? Face.
And what's the reasoning? Because the neighbor stole her parking spot at the grocery store. But stolen parking spots aren't the only thing that enrages Beverly. You have chewing gum and chewing with your mouth open, not wearing seatbelts, stuff like that, wearing white after Labor Day. That kind of thing is really what sets her off. She's clearly a psychopath. We see her first murder, which is her son's math teacher, Mr. Stubbins. He tells her that her son is kind of overly obsessed with horror. He's writing these obscene things in class, drawing obscene pictures, so she runs over him with her car. She then kills her daughter's boyfriend with a fire poker at a flea market, and Mr. Sutphin actually finds an Annie Wilkes-style scrapbook underneath the bed of her victims. Whenever they hit the newspaper, media attention starts coming as they believe that it's Miss Sutphin who is the killer, and the kids start imagining their lives as a horror film. All is fine with Mommy Dearest. They also, the family thinks that she's a killer, but they don't want to really bring that up. So they're having dinner, and Beverly sneaks out and kills a married couple. She kills the wife with a pair of scissors, and then she mistas the husband with an air conditioner out the window.
Mister! Get this off of me! Mister!
As a kid, that was the scene that I remember most, or second most. The other scenes to come a little bit later. She returns home before the family can make it home, and they think, oh, she's not a killer, all except for Chip the son, who is kind of upset that his mom's not a killer because he wants his life to be like a horror film.
You're only a day away.
Then Lizzie Borden kills Child Play 3 Andy Barkley by setting him on fire in the middle of a crowded room in a concert, and that's when she gets arrested. During her trial, she fires her lawyer and becomes her own lawyer, and she dispatches each of the witnesses by first making the one witness look crazy, who was the lady she kept calling and badgering on the phone with her obscene phone calls. One of the witnesses is movie high, where she's basically impaired to the point where her testimony means nothing to the jury.
The one you saw run over Mr. Stubbins in cold blood.
I seen that movie. It's on cable.
She frames Mrs. Puff because the fire poker that she killed her daughter's boyfriend with was Mrs. Puff's fire poker that she had just bought. She distracts the court from the only credible testimony by bringing in Suzanne Summers, who is going to play her once this story becomes a movie. And then she's Sharon Stone's the last witness.
Your mother was no Sharon Stone.
All the while this is going on, her kids are selling merchandise out in the courtyard of the courthouse, and her son is talking to these managers about getting her life story made into a movie.
Are you Chip Sutphin?
Hold on a sec. Yeah, I am, but you're gonna have to speak with my agent.
She's found not guilty. They go out into the lobby of the courthouse, and she murders one of the jurors for wearing
white shoes after Labor Day.
That's the second scene that really stuck out to me as a kid whenever I happened to see this movie. It just was so bizarre to me that somebody would do that. She's clearly psychotic. That's the last time we've seen the members of the Sutton clan. That's where the 1996 Wes Craven film Scream comes in. If you don't know what Scream is, it's kind of odd because of the title of this video that you clicked on, but I'll give you a little bit of a rundown real quick. Scream is a film that stars Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, Jamie Kennedy, Skeet Aldrich, and again, most importantly for our purposes, Matthew Lillard. It follows Sidney Prescott, played by Neve, as she is kind of navigating 1 year after her mother's murder, and the bodies start piling up again, and
Everybody's a suspect!
this movie revitalized the horror slasher genre by introducing one of the first teen-centric, following the protagonist films, where it kind of led into the I Know What You Did Last Summer and the urban legends of the 90s, and it had a lot of twists to it that people didn't see coming. The first of which is killing off their main star at the time, Drew Barrymore, within the first scene of the film. The biggest twist of the film being that there are actually two killers going around dressing as Ghostface killing people. One of the killers is Sidney's horror-obsessed boyfriend, Billy Loomis.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
And the other is Stu Macher, played by Shaggy himself, Matthew Lillard. Now with all the setup out of the way, it's time to get to the theory. Is Scream a sequel to the movie Serial Mom?
You gotta have a sequel!
I know what you're thinking. They share one actor who plays two different characters. They're not connected. But may I submit to you, for the approval of the Midnight Society, that Stu Macher is actually Chip Sutphin from Serial Mom. So my theory as a whole goes like this. Chip and his family flee Baltimore after his mother's trial. They get away from the police somehow, and they end up in Woodsboro, California, where they change their name. Stu befriends local resident psychopath Billy Loomis and is talked into killing Maureen Prescott, and 1 year later is also talked into going on a killing spree as the Ghostface Killer to help his buddy kill his girlfriend, whose mother he blames for his father leaving. And here's my evidence to back it up. My first piece of evidence is that Beverly in Serial Mom uses a distorted voice to call her victims and taunt her victims, kind of like Billy and Stu do as Ghostface in Scream.
Surprise, Sidney.
Billy and Stu plan on framing Sidney's father. I believe that's because Stu has already lived through a similar scenario and knows that the public is really willing for a suburban parent to be a killer. They're very open to that idea, and he even kind of puts that idea in Randy's head, kind of laying the groundwork for a killer parent like he lived through whenever he lived in Baltimore.
I think it's her father. Why can't they find her pops, man?
I even think that Stu learned how to frame somebody from watching his mother 2 years before frame Mrs. Puff for the murders, and he even says that he thought of the ending.
Except for Billy and me. We were left for dead.
Then he kills you and shoots himself in the head. Perfect ending.
I thought of that.
Are you convinced yet?
No.
Okay, fine. How about the fact that Chip works in a video rental store and Stu spends time in a video rental store? Pretty convincing, huh? Yeah, that's not a good one. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, how about the fact that Beverly's first victim's name was Mr. Stubbins, spelled Stubbins? Stubbins, Stu. Maybe he took the name from his math teacher and took the first 3 letters of his name to come up with his alias. That seems pretty convincing. Yeah, probably not. How about the fact that Bill and Stu are crazy?
Actually, you prefer the term psychotic.
Okay, psychotic. Maybe that travels through the bloodline, and Chip was kind of laying dormant whenever they're in Baltimore, but these events that his mother put him through kind of awakened something in him, and whenever he came to California as Stu, that really awakened in him, and he became psychotic. But Billy seems to have a motive. He says,
I don't really believe in motive, Sid. I mean, did Norman Bates have a motive?
No.
Did they ever really decide why Hannibal Lecter liked to eat people? Don't think so. You see, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid.
but that's not really true. His motive is that his mother left his father, and that's why he killed Maureen, and this is kind of getting his revenge on the rest of the people in his life that he blames for his mother leaving. But Stu doesn't really seem like he has a motive. He says,
"Oh, Stu, what's your motive? Billy's got one. The police are on their way. What are you gonna tell them?"
Peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive.
but, I mean, that's not really a good motive. What if he wants his life to be like a movie?
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
In Serial Mom, Chip really wanted his life to be like a movie, specifically a horror film.
Did you hear?
What happened?
This is so cool. It's just like a horror movie.
His dad even calls him a horror nut.
The Citizen Kane of gore movies.
Whenever he's talking about his son, he does it multiple times. And like I said before, he's the only one who's upset about his mother not being a killer that he could flip into being a TV show or a movie.
Do you think we'll get on a current affair?
Even in Serial Mom, where Chip seems put together and not a psychopath, he says about the victims,
Well, they sort of deserved it.
showing a lack of empathy and kind of psychopathic tendencies. I think that he carried that obsession with horror films over from Baltimore to Woodsboro, and that's kind of his justification. Stu is very obsessed with slasher films as well. They reference Psycho and Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger, things like that. I feel like that is what his character is, and that's also what Chip's character is in Serial Mom. So you're still not convinced? Okay, I got it. Check out this scene and let me kind of break it down.
Did you really call the police?
You bet your sorry ass I did.
My mom and dad are gonna be so mad.
The final act of the film takes place in the Mockers' residence, and Stu says,
My mom and dad are gonna be so mad.
that's a really weird thing to be concerned about, isn't it? Your parents being mad at you when the cops are on their way, you're dying of a stab wound on a kitchen counter. My parents would be the furthest thing from my mind in that situation. So what are they going to be mad about? They're going to be mad about the murders? I mean, that seems obvious. What if they're not going to be mad about the murders? What if they've already lived through a horror film, essentially, when the mother went on a crazy rampage 2 years earlier? What if they're going to be mad because Stu blew their cover? Or should I say, Chip blew their cover? So there you have it. I think that Chip Sutphin, seeing the craziness of his mother whenever they fled from her being indicted, changed his name, and brought those horror obsession tendencies with him, and he started heading down the path to being a little crazy.
Actually, you prefer the term psychotic.
Oh, sorry. Being a little psychotic. He's whisked off to California, and he teams up with the greasiest psychopath he can find and goes on a murder spree where Billy's motive is revenge, Stu's motive is to be famous. He really wants to get back that feeling of fame that he had right outside of his grasp 2 years before with his mother's murder trials. What's the best way to do that? Murder people yourself.
It's a Scream, baby!
So that's my theory, guys. Let me know what you think. Are you a fan of Scream? Let me know again down in the comments. Leave this video a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.